I got a question for you. Okay. I actually have two questions. First one is, does this look okay? Like, quality wise? I got a new camera. Not for this, but I need to put it through its paces, and I figured I'd do it with this. Um, this is what I've been using before. Nice Canon. I got a Sony FX30 now, though. I like it a lot. I would rather save it for big stuff, though, so that I can just keep this docked. But if y'all really like the Sony better than this, I might keep it, but we'll see. I'm not nothing set in stone yet. Now, my other question is, do you like animals? Doesn't matter what kind, just an animal other than human beings. I would assume most of you said yes in some capacity, and if not, what the hell are you still doing here? This is an animal topic day. I, for one, love animals, with some exceptions. Hell, one of my backup careers was actually to be a zoologist or a marine biologist, just so I'd have an excuse to hang out with some amazing creatures every single day. But I chose to go to film school for 4 years, and Hollywood chose AI. Money well spent, no going back now. But having such a deep respect for the animal kingdom, it's no surprise that movies with animals in them are gonna get my attention, especially if it's real animals. Lately, the industry's been a little shy with using real animals in films, and while I can understand why that might be, especially in cases that could be dangerous for both the animals and the people on set, sometimes it seems like they intentionally want to burn money on CGI rather than just get the real thing. I mean, did the Call of the Wild reboot really need a creature performer to play the dog? They didn't actually go down those rapids like you see in the movie, you know. Just get a good boy in there, not some uncanny looking beast. As of filming this though, I just saw that Disney is rebooting Air Bud, and while I really wish Disney would just stop with that, just stop, at least they're using an actual dog. But what if I were to tell you that there is a movie that is only 100% real animals, no CGI, animation, or even humans, and it's not even a documentary, it's pure fiction? Don't believe me? Well, you're about to, because it's The Adventures of Milo and Otis. This film has a very special place in my heart because of how wholesome and relatively calm it all is. I mean, the whole premise of the movie is a cat and a dog get lost and they try to find their way home, meeting a bunch of other animals on the way. It is simple and adorable. What could possibly be wrong with this movie? But for the sake of padding this just a little bit more, I did a little bit of research on it and found out this is actually a Japanese movie. It originally came out in 1986 entitled Konako Montegari, or A Kitten Story. I probably butchered that, and I am so sorry, native Japanese speakers. But then 3 years later, they lobbed off 15 minutes of the movie and then made an English version of it. Last time I watched this movie, I was barely able to read, so I wasn't exactly reading the intro credits, and I was only going off of what I heard, which was English, so I assumed it was either British or American. Clearly, my memory of this movie needs a bit of an update, because if I missed that fact, what else could I have possibly missed? Back on topic though, I thought this would be a good chance to get a fresh perspective on a film I used to love very much. So without further ado, let's talk plot. This film starts with us soaring through the clouds while some song about the movie's playing.
It's a great big world that's all set up for a curious cat and a pug-nosed pup.
You see why I didn't know this was a Japanese film? This song screams US South. Also, we really need to make songs that are made for movies more popular again. I know they've done it a little bit here and there to moderate success, but sometimes it really makes the whole thing that much better. I mean, most people only know Armageddon exists because Aerosmith made such an amazing song for that movie. Back to this film though, we then see a cozy farm with chickens, ducks, cows, demon rabbits that can only be slain by holy hand grenades, as well as a barn cat who just gave birth to a litter.
She was determined to be a good mother and never yell at her kittens. But that approach would not last very long because Milo, one of her kittens, was trouble from the very beginning.
No shit, he's an orange cat. What did you expect, a quiet and obedient angel? Now, this is Milo, or Chatoran for the Japanese audience, and he quickly meets his new best friend, Otis, or Pusuke. Question from the ignorant American here: why are there pugs on this farm? This place doesn't give puppy mill vibes, and I would assume that when people think of farm dog, they wouldn't think of a tiny little thing with severe breathing problems. You know, something mid-size that can actually help out around the farm, like guard the frickin' livestock or herd them. The hell is a pug gonna do when a fox or a wild cat shows up wanting chicken teriyaki? Grunt it to death?
You're a strange-looking cat, Milo said. Oh, I'm not a cat. I'm a dog. Nevertheless, as if they knew how much they would need each other, Milo and Otis became best friends.
I forgot how adorable this movie is. They basically just let the animals do what they want and film it. It's fucking amazing. As Milo and Otis grow up, we learn that Milo is always getting into trouble and dicking around, while Otis is more into orderly fun. They play with the other animals, as well as hide and seek on the regular, which Milo sucks at.
You're in the pipe, Milo. Try again. Oh, not the old Puss in Boots trick, Otis groaned. Cat's in the can, Otis shouted. And Milo slipped off to another hiding place.
They watch over an egg, and Milo's mom takes him and his siblings to a dock and tells them to never come here because the water is dangerous. And then Milo jumps in.
And behave while I'm gone. Milo! Milo, I'm coming!
She just bailed on the rest of her kids, and then another jumps in the fucking water. Apple didn't fall too far from the tree, it seems. Oh, and we also learned that there actually is a farm dog here, so maybe this is a puppy mill. For pugs. I'm sorry if that felt rushed, but I honestly didn't really see the point in going through all of that in detail. It takes close to 15 minutes for the actual story to start, with the rest of it just being tiny little side quests that don't really lead up to anything. It's adorable. Obviously, I'm not arguing that it's not fun, but it's not relevant at the moment, so we're just gonna skip it. I remember the actual story starting a lot sooner than it does. Makes you wonder what else you can misremember.
No, wait, no, I'm sorry, no. Oh.
Trying to film, shithead. Now on to the meat and potatoes of the story, which is Milo and Otis taking a trip to the dock Milo's mom told him to never be near, especially after last time, but Milo being Milo, he thinks this is the best spot to play hide and seek with Otis.
Get out of there before something happens. But something did. Quick! Jump in! This'll be fun, Milo shouted. Otis didn't know what to do.
I'd say that was some fast-acting karma, but I know orange cats live for this shit, so glad you got what you asked for, bud.
Chaos.
So Milo is now floating down the river, and while he is finding the whole deal hilarious, Otis is responding reasonably and trying to get Milo back to shore.
And the river took Milo farther downstream.
So remember how earlier I mentioned that they basically just let the animals do what they want and filmed it? I think I want to rescind that statement because that cat clearly does not want to be floating down the river in a tiny box. But to make matters worse for Milo, a bear appears, and now, as a kid, I remember being scared, but adult me knows better, and he knows that a bear like that isn't going to be interested in eating the cat. At most, he'll yell at him and tell him to back off. See, that's just territorial behavior. Wait, why is he going after the box now? Okay, guys, way too far with letting the animals do what they want to do here. That bear may not want to eat the cat, but it definitely could still kill it, and the cat 100% feels threatened in this situation, being in a tiny box with a big guy looking down at him. Luckily, though, Otis is there to rescue Milo, and he distracts the bear in the water, leading him back to shore, and oh my god, okay. We need to do a lot more research going forward because I do not want to get in trouble for promoting possible animal abuse on YouTube. Okay, I'm going to start with Wikipedia. Oh, look, animal cruelty allegations has its own tab. When the film was released, some animal welfare organizations alleged to have a number of complaints from people who had seen the film and were concerned that it could not have been made without cruelty. Yeah, I can see why from just that alone. The same report noted that several Japanese humane societies allowed their names to be used in connection with the film, and that the film shows no animals being injured or harmed. Are we sure about that? Because that bear was swinging. My brother was the main culprit, but everyone there, including myself, was accomplice. Chatran died. It was like an accident, or rather you could say we killed him. The 20th October included anonymous staff testimonies supporting his claims such as anesthesia overdoses, cliff throwing, proposed surgical interventions on animals including sewing piglets together for a specific visual effect. What the fuck? Snopes knows shit. Snopes is the whole point of fact-checking. Unproven. Even Snopes doesn't have an actual answer. The American Humane Society published a report. The main character is a cat played by 27 different cats. The picture shows no animals being injured or harmed. However, before it was released in the United States, we heard rumor that some of the cats had died during the filming. We have attempted to investigate this through our contacts in Europe who normally have information on movies throughout the world. They had also heard the rumor but were unable to verify it as being true. We have tried through humane people in Japan and through other Japanese producers, that's a typo, to determine if these rumors are true or not, but not everything, but oh my god. These are the humane societies that were allowed to be tied to it. Their standards are a little wonky. A little more than a decade prior to the release, Japan passed the Act on Welfare and Management of Animals in 1973. Oh, so it's not like they didn't have anything in check there at the time. They had their checks and balances in Japan, and oh brother. Japan's animal rights protections continue to rank low by international standards. Where did that one come from? Oh, the World Animal Protection. Okay. Yee. I mean, honestly, the footage itself is damning evidence in my opinion, but clearly it was not enough to completely wipe this movie off the face of the earth. You can rent and buy this movie off of YouTube, and there are clips posted, ones that are significantly worse than what we just saw. So I'm gonna assume it's fine, and I'm just gonna use me commentating as like, hey, I'm showing you this because this is wrong. Because that is very, very, very wrong. But we'll find out that if my account just vanishes suddenly, we don't talk about Milo and Otis on YouTube. Either way, this is not how I remember this movie, and I feel ashamed for telling people that they should watch it sometime. Anyways, Otis gets the bear away, but Milo is still drifting down the river, even goes down a fucking waterfall. That poor cat. At least the box was magically able to stay upright so the cat didn't have to start swimming.
He'd lost track of Otis now, and he was drifting farther and farther from home.
Get that kitty out now! Also, they must have put those meows in post because I doubt you'll be able to actually hear anything with all the rushing water. Also, the way the meows sound don't seem to line up with how the cat is clearly reacting to the situation. Unless the cat's doing the line from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and going,
Help, police, murder.
I think he'd have a bit more panic in his voice. Just saying. But while Milo continues down the river for nearly an entire day, literally a whole day passes, Otis is still in hot pursuit of his bestie.
Here comes the dog, strong and brave. Woof! Here comes the dog, your life he...
That poor guy is gonna need a ventilator after this mess. Otis then comes across a deadwood forest and finds the very box Milo is in, but no Milo. I would also like to point out a massive continuity error here where we see Otis trudging through the mud and then all of a sudden he is spotless. I know they were working with animals. That's a pretty easy one to not fuck up, and they did it anyways. While Otis is wondering where the fuck Milo is in the middle of a fucking caldera. Why is this cat running across a scorching, smoke-filled wasteland? For the filmmaker's sake, that better be a regular beach with a fog machine or maybe a tint on the lens, because if they actually put that cat through that shit, I'm going full John Wick on everyone who greenlit this movie. I'm not even a cat person. I just don't believe in being cruel to animals. That's some serial killer shit. Luckily though, he doesn't stay in hell on earth for long and immediately finds a strange new creature.
And feeling pretty hungry, he immediately wondered, is that something you could eat?
I get the feeling Milo would say this exact same thing if it was an elephant and not a fox. But after stalking the fox and failing basic QuickTime events in a tree multiple times, a serious question, is this all cats or is this one just especially stupid? I'm starting to think that the reason cats evolved to land on their feet is because they absolutely refuse to learn common sense. Like that twig was not gonna support your weight. I can just look at it and be like, yeah, that ain't gonna hold me. Cats don't do that apparently. This one definitely doesn't do that. Anyways, Milo steals food from the fox and then fucks off to ruin someone else's day. Now let's get back to Otis, who, by the looks of things, is currently storming the beaches of Normandy.
How does a dog talk to a clam? Then he remembered there was one magic word everyone understood, and that was please.
Well, I'm a human, and I have no idea what that word means, so clearly it's not all animals. And it looks like the clams don't know it either, so get fucked, man. Suddenly the tide comes in, and now Otis is stuck in the middle of the ocean. What the fuck, guys? Look at him! He wants to go home! Get this pup some sea turtles and cordage now.
Oh, not again.
Holy shit, I called it! I was just making a Jack Sparrow reference, not predicting the fucking plot. This movie came out before Pirates, so maybe that's where they got the idea, actually. Jack Sparrow's like, I really like that movie with the pug riding the turtles. I'm gonna tell that story when I get off the island. I love this. This is the best. Who cares about animal abuse allegations? We got Pupper on a turtle, guys. Absolute cinema. But Otis thanks the turtle, who's kind of pissy having to save animals from that rock all the time, and then Otis runs into a fox himself. Is it the same fox Milo stole from? Is it a different one? We don't know, because they don't tell us, so don't ask me. I really want to make a certain reference here. Like, really bad. Nope. No, I gotta resist. So, Otis approaches the fox and sees what he has to say.
What does the fox say?
I'm sorry, I am weak. Fight me.
Hey, wait a second. What kind of animal are you anyway? I'm a dog, of course, Otis answered. How can you be a dog? You have no tail.
I think it's because the narrator is British, but this is giving me major Monty Python vibes right now, and I'm loving it. Honestly, wish the BBC just let those guys narrate some nature documentary that they weren't gonna fully air. Would have been an instant classic.
Why don't you go and tell him that you want to be a leper again?
Oh, I could do that, so yeah, I could do that, I suppose. What I was thinking, I was going to ask him if he'd make me a bit lame in one leg during the middle of the week.
Back with Milo, he's recreating a scene from his favorite movie, Stand By Me. And just like that story, your absolute faith in the character's safety is completely circumvented by the train rapidly approaching while the cat is right in the middle of the tracks. They didn't use CGI in this movie. At all. And we have a real train on real tracks with a real cat on them. Milo does not get off the track, so how did they film this scene? Is it A, they left a fake cat on the tracks as the train passed by? B, they used match cuts of the cat on the tracks alone with separate shots of the train coming through and no cat on them? Or C, they trained the cat to lie completely still while they had the train roll over it? Got your answers picked? Let's see who's right.
Milo had ducked just in time.
If you chose B, congrats, you chose the easiest option, just like the filmmakers. If you chose C, then you need some serious psychiatric care, because why would you think they would actually do such a thing? Probably because of the animal abuse allegations. You know what? You got a point. Milo then finds himself in a cotton field, and for fuck's sake, don't let him eat the cotton, he's gonna clog his guts up. Was there seriously no one there to make sure the animals didn't get themselves killed? Back to the story, Milo then meets a baby deer who teaches him how to bound.
Just let your heart lead, and your feet will follow, and will bound and leap like a gentle breeze. Bound and leap like a zephyr set free. Bound and, of course, leap.
I really don't like this narrator. Something about his voice and how no matter what character he's reading for or what amount of effort he puts in to change it for the story, it's still the same voice. And it's annoying. The fawn then teleports Milo to some wooded area to rest. Not sure why he didn't just bring him home if teleportation was an option, because hell of a jump cut otherwise.
Milo was asleep within moments.
Well, he sure as hell ain't sleeping now. Back to Otis, the little dude is still trucking on. This is probably the toughest pug to have ever lived. But even the strongest spirits can get chipped away because now it's night and the night is scary. Milo ends up finding companionship with an owl who introduces him to his magical nest.
I'm the night bird, and that is a dreaming nest. What do you mean? Milo asked. Anyone sleeping there will have his sleep flooded with dreams.
The fuck is this lore? Dreaming nest? Is that a thing in Japan? Anyways, this stuffed knocked owl lets Milo rest in his bed, and he has a dream, which basically reads as a B-roll dump for the shots they couldn't find any other use for in the movie, but still really wanted to keep in. Doesn't last long though, as Milo is woken up by a lost pig squealing its little heart out. Even though Milo hesitates, not realizing that he's an orange cat and he's the one who should be feared, he goes to help the pig.
Oh, my leg is caught! The pig cried. And that bird! He'll be back! Take it easy, said Milo, working quickly to free the pig's foot.
That's not his foot, Milo. But after freeing the piglet, didn't really look stuck to me, it immediately calms down and tells Milo that his family's nearby, and they walk together to his place in the middle of a clearing without any more issues, and then they go to sleep. So I really don't like this. I don't like how this is basically just, they did this, and then they did this, and then they did this, and then they went to go do this thing. It's lazy. Now it is morning, and after getting caught up in the rush of the pig's breakfast routine, Milo pieces out.
Geez, he thought, no wonder they call them pigs.
That kind of sounds a little racist, Milo. Milo then stumbles onto another river, and little dude is hankering for some sushi, so he gets the idea to use his tail as a lure and hooks himself a what the f. They actually did that. Run that back in slow motion. This isn't some prop. It is squirming on its own and against the movement. That is a real fish biting the cat's tail. That poor cat. But once again, ignoring the real-life issues around this movie, in the story, Milo is happy to successfully get some food until Tom Nook shows up and takes it. Typical bastard. Oh great, the bear's back. Fucking run! Oh my god, that bear might actually be trying to hurt that raccoon. How did this get greenlit? It's one thing if this was a nature documentary and, you know, if the bear and the raccoon start fighting, you can't intervene. They happen to be there. They happen to be fighting each other. If one of them gets killed, most likely the raccoon, edit around it. But this is a work of fiction. The very nature of this whole movie is fabrication. They could have made it so that big animals that are known to be more aggressive were not actually interacting with some of the small animals, the same way they didn't actually leave the cat on the train tracks as a train rolled by, but they didn't do that. They wanted to put a cat and a raccoon and a bear all in the same place and fight over a fish.
My leg!
That is cruel.
They battled over the trout until the bear caught sight of something bigger and tastier.
The way the bear just suddenly ditches makes me think some off-camera person called it off, which meant that the bear was at least somewhat trained and the trainer is on set. They still let the scene go on longer than it should have though, since the bear clearly wasn't playing nice with the others. I think the only saving grace in this moment is that it's a bear cub. You can clearly tell. I don't know how it is with Japanese black bears, but American black bears, they grow much bigger than that. And if they had an adult, it would absolutely have no trouble wrecking the shit out of that raccoon, whereas this one is just going bah, 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 bah. But now the bear's after Milo, and he's clearly having a bad time. The bear dips after falling out of the tree, and then Milo heads the other direction to find something else to eat, like seagull eggs, which does not go well at all.
Cat! There's a cat near the babies! A chorus of birds joined in. Cat! Cat! Seagulls were pecking him, hurting him. There was only one way for Milo to escape.
There is no way that there wasn't any animal hurt, at the least, when filming this. I just can't believe it. I was thinking that this is a nice, wholesome movie, totally unproblematic. This is a G-rated movie. Last I checked, watching a G-rated movie isn't supposed to make you think, did they abuse these animals while watching? Because that's what I'm getting here. I must have been sent to an alternate universe without knowing it, because apparently this movie is a problem. The Berenstain Bears are now the Berenstain Bears, and the Fruit of the Loom never had a cornucopia in the logo. Milo then crawls out of the ocean and into an old beach shack. While he thinks he can get a decent break, the director has other ideas.
He was feeling safe at last, until he looked at what was right outside. Oh.
Again with the bears? Really? This isn't even the same as the other two. It's a brown bear, not a black bear. But the two black bears, I doubt were supposed to be like the same bear, you know? So 2 to 3 different bears have been used as obstacles in Milo's journey alone. I love bears. They're my second favorite animal of all time. But Japan has a lot of diversity as an island nation. But they stick with a brown bear, and at least this one is also not a fully grown animal. It's almost like these guys kind of knew that getting a fully grown brown bear, hell, fully grown any bear in general, was not the best idea, but instead of rewriting it or axing the idea altogether, they decided, what if we do babies instead?
Milo tried to hide, but the bear smelled a cat right away, and Milo knew somehow he was going to have to outsmart this bear.
Well, that would be great and all if they didn't take up time in this movie to show us that not only is Milo ass at hide and seek, he also isn't the brightest bulb in the box. Milo then plays whack-a-cat with the bear getting a few nibbles in on his paw, but then the bear gets pissy and decides to bring the whole dresser down. See, this is why I love bears, because I would 100% do the same thing in this situation.
And just when the bear almost had him, oh, perfect shot! And the bear, knocked silly, stumbled out of the shack wondering what hit him.
I love when bears do that. I feel so conflicted because one scene you'll see animals being put in places they don't want to be, or thrown off cliffs, or fighting other animals, but then the very next one you have a kitten cuddling with a baby deer, or a pug riding on a turtle, or a bear going vertical. Stop confusing me! Also, if you didn't notice, they did the thing I mentioned where they used the cuts to hide the fact that the bear and the cat aren't actually interacting with each other. Why didn't we do that when the other bear was fucking up the raccoon? Anyways, this is the third bear that fucks off, and Milo once again moves on to something else. You know, we spent a lot of time on what Milo's been doing, but we haven't heard from Otis in a while. Wouldn't it be great to see what Otis is doing right now? Well, if the director was here, he would probably say,
オーティスはバカだからだ。もっとマイロを。
He thought he'd be a lot safer hiding at the top of a tree.
no, skip. Like I said earlier, I love animals, but with some exceptions. Snakes are a big fucking exception.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Hate me if you want, snake lovers, but there is a reason why multiple cultures throughout history across the globe have depicted snakes in less than flattering ways. And it wasn't because they all met up and decided to do it. Let's just move on to what comes immediately after. See what I tell you, evil. The demon dildo put that poor kitty in a fucking ditch. But to be serious for a second, that is a very circular ditch. Like man-made perfectly circular. Did they dig this ditch just to throw the cat in and have him be stuck in there crying for help? Are we so for real right now? But now Milo is trapped, and the humans behind the cameras sure as hell aren't gonna help, so what else is there to do? You call the Paw Patrol, obviously.
Paw Patrol, whenever you're in trouble.
About damn time they let Otis back into the movie. I know the Japanese version is more focused on the cat, I mean, it's just how they titled it, but the American version is called Milo and Otis, and we're barely seeing any of Otis. Otis then throws a stick for Milo to climb up, and when that doesn't work, Otis calls in Toodles and gets a decent piece of rope. We're really gonna brush past the fact that Otis happened to find a decent piece of cordage behind that bush? I know this is a kid's movie, but if you treat your audience like a bunch of idiots, they're gonna become a bunch of idiots. But the rope worked, and now the two are dancing around, just absolutely ecstatic to see each other again. That's great and all, but y'all know how to get back now? A seasoned hiker would have trouble getting home in this situation, let alone a pocket dog and a chaos gremlin. And just when you think the pals are back on track, the ultimate distraction emerges.
What was that? Otis said. They ran to the cat cries, and Milo was suddenly breathless. Hello, I'm Joyce. Joyce!
Clearly no one taught Milo about bros before hoes because he's making a damn fool of himself right in front of his buddy.
Come back with me to my farm. I don't know. A farm isn't exactly my lifestyle. Oh, you'll love it, Milo said. They'll all love you. I love you.
Hey, bud, you just met the woman. Also, what did she mean that a farm wasn't quite her lifestyle? They found her in the middle of a field. Most farms have fields, girly. Well, she takes the bait, and now all three of them are heading back to the farm. And when the hell did it become fall? How long have they been gone? It looked like the middle of summer when this all started, and we only saw 2 nights go by. Why? But Otis becomes a third wheel to the honeymooners and eventually gets fed up with it.
You two follow the river. I'm going over the mountains by myself. Hey, where are you going, Otis? But he didn't answer. And he didn't even look back.
Dead dog walking here. We got a dead dog walking here. Walking dog, way ducking dog. What the fuck?
I don't know why I sounded like Doug Dimmadome at the end of that.
Otis was only gone a few days when the first snowstorm of winter interrupted the journey.
And now it's winter. I thought New England's weather was bipolar as all hell. It's these time jumps, man. I'm getting motion sick sitting here. Anyways, it's winter now, and everyone is trying their best to survive the cold. Milo and Joyce decide to sit in a rotten out stump that isn't really covering them all that much. The instincts of a cat, everyone. Otis, though, is a tough pup, and he keeps trucking through the snow, until he too is struck by the same affliction as Milo.
But then he saw her. I'm Sandra. I've never met a dog like you, Sandra. No, Sandra. It's a French pronunciation.
Oh, great. She's a little Miss Priss, too. I love how convenient it is that in the middle of the woods, in winter, during what looks like a blizzard, Otis was able to find himself a lady friend that is the exact same breed as him. Those are the kind of odds that give gambling addicts hope before they lose the house.
He and Sandra kept on romping through the drifts, kicking up snow and disturbing some of the more proper neighbors.
Since when were deer proper? Last I checked, jumping in front of your car as you're passing isn't very civilized. But Sandra leads Otis to her vacation cavern, and we get this stunning shot that you'd see on someone's van. Back with Milo, we find out Joyce is pregnant. Milo, you dirty dog. You know what? Holy fucking shit, that's real. Can they do that in a kid's movie? Either I scrubbed that from my mind completely, or I fell asleep before this scene showed up, because I did not remember live birth being in this movie. Sandra's pregnant too. Bunch of horny fucks out here. I mean, oh my god, they did it again. Look, I know this is a natural part of life. I get it. This is a G-rated movie. The target audience is not even old enough for the birds and the bees talk, let alone actually seeing it. Hell, even PG movies that I've seen don't actually show the shit happening. You hear the woman grunting and crying in pain, then all of a sudden you hear the baby crying. At most, you'll see some of the blood and goop on him still. I went into this one going, wow, this one's going to be a movie that I really like. I don't know if I'm going to have much to complain about it. I got a lot to fucking complain about it.
You know, Otis said, we really should think of names for them. Oh, I did that already.
You bitch. That is some cold shit naming the kids yourself, even though the dad is literally right there and very much active in their lives. My boy Otis is not some baby daddy.
There was too much winter left and too little food. Otis knew he'd have to go out and find some.
Okay, you know what? Maybe I was a bit quick to think he was more than a baby daddy, because that longing look that he gives and the music makes this all seem like he told him he's just going to the store for some milk. He then stumbles upon this rundown looking cabin and notices a familiar face hanging in the window.
Look what the blizzard blew in, Milo said. You look hungry, how about some fish? Okay, but not for me, for my puppies. You have puppies? Me too. You have what?
Orange cats, Otis. They're not too bright. You should have known this by now. But Milo knocks down some fish that was just hanging on the side of the house for Otis to take back to his kids.
Hey, Otis. I really missed you.
What was that cut for? I mean, this was shot on actual film, so you would expect a little bit more precision with the cuts since you only get the one chance. There's no Control-Z back then. Milo isn't even mid-word before cutting to Otis doing something completely different than having a conversation, and also he's looking in the same direction as Milo, so it's breaking the 180-degree rule, and doesn't seem intentional because it doesn't fit. Like, this is just some rookie shit here. But as Otis leaves to go feed his family, the narrator talks about how the two plan to meet up again in spring with both of their families this time, and then they would all head back to the farm like they originally planned while the boys were still bachelors. Hey Doc, can you hold the fucking camera straight? I know the fancy gimbals came out a few decades after this, but this guy didn't even seem to try. Can't just blame the camera guy though. I can blame the DP and the director and the editors and any producer that was on set this day who looked at the footage and went, yeah, that's good, let's roll it and put it in the final cut. Spring arrives, and not only do Milo and Otis unite the clans, but all the other animals bring their kids out to see the world. All I can see are a bunch of really quick and inconsistent cuts. I swear I did not make these cuts for effect. I may be a simple YouTuber, but I still got standards, and I would never do that intentionally.
But then,
Bro, you just steamrolled your own kid. Relax. But with the two families together, they teleport onto a random ass road that's supposed to bring them right back to the farm. How convenient that they only find that now. Oh, and they're back home. Movie over. Well, I feel dirty now, and it's not just because I watched two animals give live birth without my consent. Beyond the alleged animal cruelty and childbirth, the film itself is kind of messy, especially around the end where they just start cutting and wiping all over the place. I was getting whiplash here. I have a feeling that might be due to the original 15 minutes that were cut out from the Japanese version, so if I ever get my hands on that one, I definitely want to do a little compare and contrast. If for some miracle reason you are fully able to put all that bad shit aside, it's still a fun film. Like I've said, it's adorable when they're not throwing cats off cliffs. I just wouldn't recommend showing it to your kids until they know where babies come from. But maybe you're more mature than me and can handle watching birth in a G-rated movie. Still not getting over that fact. If so, I suggest you watch this for yourself and form your own opinion. And now you've reached the end of the video. Congratulations, you win a shiny trophy with a little thing on the top. Ain't it a beaut? And hey, if you got this far, chances are you enjoyed what you were watching, so why not give it a like so I can know that you enjoyed it. Also, you could subscribe to get alerts as to when the next one's gonna come out, because there is another one coming out. Speaking of which, the next film on my rant list is about the dumbest people in the world that go around making everyone's lives worse. Sounds charming? Kinda is. But until then, I hope your life gets significantly better, and for now, peace.